Hello, guys. Welcome to the Fraud Podcast. On this episode, we're still talking about African cultures and tradition, and with me as the Froze himself, and still our beautiful young damsel Yakang. Now, I brought in Mr. Fro today because I wanted him to really elaborate more, so that we'll really understand what it really means, or how hurtful or how sweet it is for we to feel our Africanity and our culture. So, Mr. Fro, on this episode, please give us an intel of what you feel about this African culture and our customs and traditions.
All right then. On our previous episode, we spoke about educational system in African, like parental guidance, and also how it affects generational kids today in the society. And on the previous one that we did before this one, I was not involved. I was out of the country. Guys, I'm back home. Yeah, we got a beautiful host here today, Peter. And he's hosting me. He's hosting the host himself. That makes it all beautiful. King is hosting a king.
Yes.
And we've got a beautiful
Queen over here. Today. Oh my God, that is nice.
I'll be diving in and then elaborating and completing the conversation about traditions and customs and how it affects kids, in society today.
Yeah.
I listened to the previous one you guys did. It was beautiful. You guys, touched some points.
Yes.
But not to my satisfaction. And we need to understand that on the first podcast, we all have our opinions.
Yes.
Everyone's opinions matters.
A lot.
We may not talk like the way you want us to talk. We don't need to be like you.
Yeah, of course.
The way you are, that's okay. The way we are, this is also okay. But then we are celebrating all these conversations to which we're going to be having with my beautiful Yakenya. And then the host himself.
Peter.
We got the host. Peter is the host.
A round of applause, Yeah.
For Peter.
Thank you so much.
Like what you said, African traditions and customs are, I got some point in the previous videos you guys did. And in my point, you spoke about, Africans' languages and also Africans, traveling and all that.
Yes.
And in that point, there was a video of Caesar. Caesar is a Ghanaian, one of the beautiful Ghanaian that are really fighting for African freedom and also the opportunities which Africans have been deprived of.
Okay.
And in his video, he said something. He said a white man would travel to another white man country without a visa. Go to Europe today.
Yeah.
All you need is a Schengen visa. When you have a Schengen visa, you can travel all over Europe without being asked where you're coming from, as long as you have a Schengen visa.
Yes.
But in Africa, according to Caesar, you need to have a visa to travel to South Africa. I need a visa to go to Kenya. I need a visa to go to Uganda. And we all are Africans. And in my opinion, I feel that the reason why the white have installed such democratic, slaves, democratic, honor democracy upon Africa is because the white are afraid. They don't want the togetherness which you guys spoke about in the previous video.
That is the most powerful part of Africa.
The togetherness.
Yes.
They don't want the togetherness of Africa. The white man knows that the moment Africa can merge together,
yes,
it's a problem for them.
It's a very big one.
It's a big one for them. So they don't want us to merge because in that aspect, there is a saying that unity brings power. The more populated you are, the more powerful you become. And the more victorious you become in life.
Yes.
So they're trying to divide us. And the divide does very nicely with a visa. Come first, the visa.
Yes.
Which is democracy. You need a visa to go to South Africa.
Yes.
A South African need a visa to go to possibly
most of the country. Yes.
So they made it look as if, okay, the West Africans, you can travel within your region. The South Africans, you can travel within your region. The Central Africa, you can travel within your region. But if you want to visit South Africa to South Africa, you need a visa. It's wrong.
Very wrong.
It's not like that in Europe.
Yes.
It's not even like in South American. In America, we have South American, we have North Americans. And if they want to travel to each country, they travel very easily.
Yes.
Within themselves.
Yes.
Because they trust themselves. Because they know that it's easier that way. It brings pride to them that as a South American traveling to North American, the North American believe that when the South American comes into North American, you are bringing in an opportunity. You'll be used.
Yes.
Just like right now, Canada visa is much open to everyone right now. Even Canadians are even open and praying that Nigerians come to their country right now.
Yes.
The minister or one of the ministers in Canada right now just spoke a couple of days ago and said they need weather and plumber and carpenter from Nigeria. Why do they need those people? They are taking our intellect out of Africa to their own country
Yes.
to build their own country, but then because they have a need.
Yes.
Not because they love you. If Africans think because these white people are opening up a visa opportunity for you, so they love you, oh wow, they love me, they want me to come over. No.
And you feel at home
No.
as if they are doing that in acceptance.
They have a
but
need.
No. Yes.
They have a need.
Yes.
When you get there and you're unable to do what they expect you to do, you'll be expelled.
That's
Deportation.
true. That's true.
You know,
That's true.
This is why I believe in the previous video you guys did, I believe in my opinion that Africa is high time we come together. It's high time, whatever they call it, African Union, ECOWAS, whatever out there, come together. When you're having those your summit and meetings, you know, you guys should plan and talk about how African can bond.
Can unite.
Can unite.
Yes.
You know, I don't want to travel from Ghana to Togo and then crossing the border and I'm being asked unnecessarily questions.
Okay, that's true. So, Mr. Fro, I want to push it to Yakang now. Now, Yakang, on this note of what the Fro himself has spoke about, this inter-African divisions, because I would say it's an African division, because you know you're an African, you know you're an African, you are from maybe Nigeria, South Africa, South, any part of the African country, and you too, you're also from another part of Africa. I'm also from another part of Africa. Why is it that, is it really necessary, like the way we are united with cultural heritage, traditional effects, and all those things, why can't we be connected that same way during this unity, during this bond? Yakan, I want to really know your take on this question.
First of all, Africa does really well when it comes to diversity. Like, I can come from another part of Africa, I can open up business in another part of Africa, and it will do really well.
Yes.
Like, Africans know how to work with each other because that's how we were brought up. So when it comes to not being able, being restrained, like to go to other parts of Africa, I believe it's more of what is displayed in the social media. Because by the end of the day, poverty is everywhere, like on this planet. War and all those negative things, they exist everywhere. There's no single country that is perfect.
Definitely.
But now this is where the trick comes in. Why have you ever like thought, why is it that when you ask an African child, when you grow up, what will you want to do? What would they tell you? I want to go to America. I want to go to Dubai.
Yeah.
I want to go abroad.
Yes.
Why? Because that is what they've seen on the television. These upper countries, they've just displayed the positive side of their places.
Yes.
So when I just watch the television, I see these white people, they're just, you know, in these amazing places, they're eating this good food. I just want to go there because it looks all peaceful. It's just paradise. But when they're presenting Africa, it will be like there's one part of the country that is not doing very well.
Oh, okay.
So that one particular part of the country, when I Google Ghana, maybe there's some part in Ghana that is not doing very well. But that doesn't mean the other part of the country is not doing well. So when I Google Ghana, the first thing that will come, oh, Ghana is a very violent country. Oh, this is what they're doing in Ghana. So by the end of the day, it's what is being displayed on the social media. So it's more of, they're not really showing what Africa is more about. They're not showing people that Africa, this is our culture. This is how we dance. This is how we eat. This is how we accommodate people. This is how our country looks like. So they've just made that negative impact such that anytime you ask someone from abroad, even the Africans who are like, you know, outside, they're so scared of coming back to Africa because they have this mentality, this crazy mentality that Africa people, you know, there's this American guy who was like my sister's friend, and he was like, he wants to come to Africa, and my sister like, okay, fine, and he was like, do snakes like, you know, crawl in the open? I was like, what? Why? Do you live in the jungle or something? Like, I don't understand.
Wow, this is very serious. This is very serious.
They have this crazy idea in their head that Africa is this one, we live in the forest, in the trees. Africa is undeveloped. I don't understand.
So now, I wanted to find out, how should we add all this experience to the cultural heritage to bring it out to the open for people to really realize that, yeah, this is the Africa. This is not that Africa in your mind, right? This is the real Africa. This is what Africa is all about. You understand? Yeah. For example, you are saying that, yeah, somebody wants to come here and he's asking you if snake crawls in the open. I think these people, they go to the social media, but they don't really see what we are supposed to show to them, right? So that's where the culture, the heritage, the character, and every other thing comes in. Because, like we said on the previous show, we were like, if our parents like really teach us how to use these phones, really teach us how to use some certain gadgets, and makes us very, very developed, we will really know how to take pictures of some certain things, take videos of what people really wants to see, like the Western world does. Because they only take pictures of what they want people to see.
But in that aspect, right? In that aspect, you're talking about portraying Africa to the world out there.
Yes.
And also the white man thinking snake.
Not
cross,
thinking, knowing.
Knows.
Yes.
Knowing snake crawls everywhere. Don't let us deceive ourselves. This is Africa.
Yes.
And if you're a white man watching us right now, you need to understand snake indeed crawls everywhere.
It crawls everywhere.
You need to know that lions can come out of the open and just, roar and then go back to the bush.
Yes.
This is Africa.
Yeah.
This is our culture. We're not going to deviate or run from our culture.
No.
We've got animals around us.
Yes.
This is who we are.
Yes.
But then you need to understand as a white person or as an European that those things bring beauty to us.
Yes.
So if you think because snake crawls everywhere or you're a white person, you want to visit Africa and you heard snakes is everywhere, so you're scared. Yeah, well, die scared. We're not scared of snakes.
I get it, yeah.
This is who we are.
Yes.
We've been empowered to tame those animals.
Yes.
This is who we are.
Yes.
We've got animals here. And they bring about our nature. They bring beauty to our nature.
Yes.
That is the act that we see in our nature, and that's our culture too as well.
Yes.
And that's our custom too as well. But then what we need to know as an African is to start respecting and embracing what we have.
Yeah.
Yes.
As an African, if you don't embrace and love what you have, that's where the stranger that you're introducing African to will go like, you're introducing African to, but I can't see Africanism in you.
Yes.
Yeah,
You don't
true.
have it.
Yes.
And then that brings about our parent too as well. You're an African, you're growing up, you want to be an African, you want to grow up having an African mentality. This is the reason why, first of all, you want to go to school.
Yes.
You want to go to school, and our educational system, like what we've spoken about in our previous videos,
yeah.
our episode, educational system is taking Africa away from us.
Yes.
We want to install all these foreign and Western world in our ideas,
That's
in
true.
our mind,
It's very
which
correct.
is wrong. Remembering that, I applaud some schools. I think some schools, sometimes they ask the kids to dress, Africans, their traditions.
Yes.
What are they doing? They're trying to bring the idea of, hey, kids, you guys are Africans.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't forget where you're from. But it's not enough. It's not enough. At the end of the day, it's just once a year.
Yeah, I think they do it
Once
1%
Once
of
a year.
100. They do
Once
it
a
1% of 100.
We have how many days in a year?
365.
Yes.
5, and then
Yeah.
just one.
One, so that should be 0.003.
So it's not enough. It's not enough. We need to
Yeah.
understand this is who we are. If you're an African and a white man asks you, do the snake cross on the street and all that, and then already you're getting a bit of like shame.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, no, it's a lie. Wherever you saw that, it's true. We have snakes everywhere.
Yes.
They need to know we have snakes everywhere. My dear, there are snakes in Australia.
Yeah, there's snakes.
A lot of
big
snakes.
ones.
Big ones. And Australians are not even, they are not even like,
Bothered about it.
Is it,
Yeah.
is
What
it
about
only
it?
Australia,
Nature.
India?
No, but
India has
Australia, I
snakes
think it's
too
more in
as well.
Australia.
Yeah,
I think
it's more in Australia, yeah.
When you talk to a white man, they talk about Australia, they tell you that the nature in Australia is
It's
like
crazy,
almost like
it's
bullshit.
everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. And the Australians love it.
They
They
love
love
it.
it.
They're
And
just
people
there.
go there
Yeah,
for
you see it on
sightseeing.
social media and
And
you're
you-
scared, but they're just like, it's
And
a
you
normal
go-
day.
And you go on social
Yeah.
media, you see snakes coming out from white man washroom.
Yeah.
It does not happen here.
Yeah.
It only crosses on our roads, at the back of our yards. And then what you do is you carry stone or a stick. Hey, my dear, they don't send you, come. Back up. They don't send you, come. Back
Yeah,
up.
that is it. That is it.
Until we embrace what we have,
yeah.
the white man is not going to help us to embrace that.
No.
Yes, it's
So
true.
the white man is asking a question, which is good. I heard there are snakes in Africa.
Are they
And then
there?
what we do is we defend ourselves. Oh no, it's a lie. Don't mind. No, mind social media.
There are snakes
There are
everywhere.
snakes everywhere.
There are snakes everywhere.
This
We take that.
Africa.
We take that as a
Africa,
point.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is Africa. This is our culture.
So-
and we cannot separate ourselves from
No.
the truth nature
It
of
is-
Africa.
It's part
Yes.
of us.
Okay. So still on that note, now what do you think we should add, or what do you think we should remove in our culture? Because we spoke that on the previous episode.
Yeah, which
but,
I watched.
Yes, but I really wanted to know your take on that, because you can spoke beautifully well, and she illustrated it so well that we should really understand. You understand? It was a bit of a little nice, sweet conversation, but with an understanding. So now the Fro is here, guys. The Fro is here. He has most of these answers, right? But he's not limiting you. We all have our own answers. So everybody should just lay it out on the comment section. But on that, let's hold Mr. Fro on this. So Mr. Fro, now the question goes to you. What do you think we should remove from this culture? What do you think we should add? And after that, I'm coming on with the advantage and the disadvantage. What you think is not really right and what you think is wrong. But for now, what do you think we should remove from this culture, or what do you think we should add? Should we spice it up a little bit? Should we add some new features to our culture or and our tradition? So over to you, Mr. Fro. What do you think?
To me, I think we should spice it. We can't take anything out of our culture. Our culture is beautiful. Africa is beautiful. We're living in a beautiful continent.
Wow, that's nice. Wow.
Africa is the most beautiful place on the planet. We got the resources. We got crude oils. We got gold. We got diamonds. We got treasures.
We
got blue diamonds. We got black diamonds. We
got everything in our disposal.
We got it all.
We got it all.
Africa is beautiful. We're not taking anything out of Africa, but again, we can spice it. Which the white people did.
Yes.
They spice it up.
They spice it. Yeah, they really spice that.
With technology. With civilization. We can do it, but then do it respectfully. In the previous episode, you spoke about, being a lady in your family. The guys are there. You have a take. There's something you want to say, which human rights, giving us the power to be able to, voice out our opinion. But then, African culture, you can't speak much where your brothers are. These are men. Or possibly your dad is making, bringing up a conversation which, is not really, you can't tell him that, you're messing up.
So in on that, Yakang. Now, he's really touched the previous. So let me bring a little tip of the previous to you now. You were really saying things about that parental kind of restriction because you're a lady. So now, if you wanted something to be changed, I want you to take in on the ladies, and I want Mr. Fro to also take in on the male, because we also have our burdens as male in Africa. We have a lot of it. So now, what do you think should change for a woman? And Mr. Fro, I want you to also take what do you think should change for a man, because it's also a lot on us. Right? So, Yakan, you go first. What do you think should change for the ladies?
I think what should change is, first of all, respect is not given, it's earned.
Thank you.
So, just because you're a guy, you do not earn my respect automatically. That's not how it works. So, in as much as you demand to be respected, I too demand to be respected.
That's it.
So, if you want me to appreciate what it is that you want, you also have to, it comes both ways. It's a two-way traffic, you understand? So, I feel like it's your chance to do something, and I was there before you, I was doing something, we just correlate with each other by understanding and giving each other room. So, ask me in a very good manner, like, oh, please, you've been watching the television the whole day. Can I? Like, it's just give me respect. I'll give you respect. So don't demand it just because you feel like, I do not owe you. I do not owe you. Nobody owes you anything. So it's more of what you're doing, how you're displaying yourself, how you're carrying yourself. That is what will make me feel like, oh, Peter deserves my respect. Why? Because he takes my, my concerns, and he understands what I'm trying to tell him. You're not coming at me like, I'm a man.
Okay, now, Mr. Fro, on this notes of what she said, because I also think that for the men, it's not just we, but also our parents, because a male child is very, very, very appreciated in Africa, right? So, Mr. Fro, on what she said, what do you think should be added?
Well, to spice it up, I think she's right in some sense. Spicing it up, we need to understand that as an African, we understand that women, of course, bow to the men. It's our culture. We can't change from that. But then we need to understand that we live in an era whereby women also go voice now. And there are human rights everywhere. We can put constitutional aside. If you're putting that aspect of women having a voice aside, of course, then you should not live in a democratic world. You should just dig a grave and bury yourself there.
Wow, well spoken.
This is democratic. And we need to accept everything that comes with democracy. So, as a parent, possibly like what you said, I want to bring a point from there. you saw your kids watching a movie and it's only one television in the whole house and you are a father, don't go like it was done in the 80s. Come on.
No.
We live in a technology world now.
We do.
You know, talk to your kid nicely. Hey, hello, kid. Dad would like to see something, you know, nice. You guys should go, you know, like carry your books and all that. Let them feel that passion of asking. Let them feel that passion, that love of separating from, okay, all right, this is our dad. We need to listen to him, but not in a difficult manner.
Yes.
Because if you're making it too aggressive to these kids, how then do you want them to evolve?
Yes.
Because it starts, like there's a saying that charity begins at home.
At home, yeah.
So if you're a father watching us right now, or a parent, you know, exclusive, watching us right now, and you want your kids to be the best of what they can be in society, and you're not giving them that grace, freedom, that equal right at home. Believe me, the moment they step out of their house, they have that timidity.
Yes.
Even in society,
Yes.
society is going to pound on them, it's going to beat on them, it's going to beat them. They are not going to be able to survive in society because they have fear from house, which is not good for us. You see, we have traditions. There is no way an African child would disrespect their parents.
That's true.
Understand
That's
no
fair
room.
enough.
There's no room for it.
There's no room for that.
We have that, like they say, we have that at the back of our
mind.
We do.
mind.
Yes.
We
But
do. Like you said, that, you know, your brothers will come into the room, they go like, you can't, you know, want to watch a movie, and you go like, all right, you can have it. You still, although sometimes you could even fight for your right. They go like, I came here first for this program, I want to watch. That does not mean you're disrespecting them. No. We have that at the back of our mind. Our parents need to understand that what you installed in your kids will never leave them. No. So if you're able to already install that respect, that dignity in your child, that Africanity in your child, that custom for them to have that natural respect with them. That does not mean because they are now growing up right now and want to evolve. And you feel like
they will lose, eh?
You feel like, oh, Yakan, you are disrespecting me as a mom. No, Yakan is not disrespecting. Froze is not disrespecting.
Yes.
Fro is just trying to be involved in what is happening now.
Now,
which still does not separate me from respecting you as my parent or whoever you as an adult.
Okay, and in addition to that, I will also say sometimes the way you treat both the male and the female shows equality from home. So when you are outside, you also know that you are equal to this other being because we are all human beings, right? We all have the same sense of humor, the same kind of adage, the same kind of love, and the same kind of feelings, right? So I think our parents will really do well on that aspect, even before we bring it out to the community, because they said charity begins at home. Okay, so we should really know how our children feels, and I think Mr. Fro is very right, because it brings about togetherness. Now, you know that, oh, my elder brother doesn't like watching slow movies. He enjoys action movies. You even can detail about what your brothers or your siblings really likes doing. But because you're always frightened away from the male child, always you're frightened away, you know less about how they feel. You understand? So that's, for this one, that the parents really need to do a little bit more to contribute to the growth and the togetherness of the male and female children. And in that way, we're all in equal respect in the society, right? This person wouldn't do more than the other person, and the other person wouldn't do more than the other. So I thank you so much, Mr. Fru, for really educating us and splitting these things. And Yakang, too, you've really spoken well. But before we end the show, I really wanted to know the advice you have for the community leaders. Because when you talk about culture and you don't mention community leaders, it seems you're not doing it right. No. Because everything about culture in Africa has to do with the community leaders. Everything about politics in Africa has to do with the politicians. The same way everything about culture in Africa has to do with the traditional rulers and leaders. So what are the advice? Because I think these people, when we demand for it, they help us instate these laws, right? They help us make those changes. So what do you think, or what's your advice for these people to really inspire the African upgrade, or will I say the African development and the cultural development? What do you think these people should do for us?
Yeah, in the cultural aspect and also customs and traditions, and which brings about the society, I think our parents, first of all, we spoke about parents. Our parents should try to install confidence in our kids. You know, culture and customs, having them does not mean it should depress you.
Yeah.
We know our cultures in Africa a little bit limited
yes.
from a lot of things.
Yes.
Yeah, culture limited.
It does a lot.
It does a lot.
It does a lot.
But then, as a parent, don't let that culture limit your kids.
Yeah.
Because if you're always telling your kids, about, remind them of culture, believe me, they will not involve. So African parents should allow our kids to involve more. They should stop limiting the kids with, remember whom sons you are, remember whose daughter you
Just
are.
kind of.
Remember, we don't do that where we are. Where you guys don't do that where you are. Where has it brought you guys to?
That is there.
Where has it brought you guys from?
That's the big question we fail to ask.
Where has it brought you guys to? You, a parent, you keep reminding your kids in fear that they should remember who you are. They shouldn't do things that would bring shame to the family. But let them bring shame. If the shame is what will make them involved, let them bring shame. Because let me tell you something. You can't have a solution without a problem.
Yes.
And in every problem, you would always want to seek for solution.
Yes.
And believe me, to seek for a solution, you need to sacrifice something.
Yes.
So most of our African kids today want to go away with that tradition, which I would say is not all that right, but then it's your duty as a parent to teach them how to go about it.
The lines,
okay,
the steps.
A child wants to become a musician, and then you go like, being a musician, you have to open your body, all that. But there's a way a child can still be a musician without opening their body.
Yes.
So instead of you scaring them of being a musician, allowing them of how to bring themselves up, how to dress, how to appear to the public, and yet still be the musician they want to be. Bring that Africanity out of them and also involve in today's world. Because if we don't involve, there's no way Africa will develop.
Yes.
Africa will not develop until we involve. The white people are advanced. They are ahead of us.
Yes.
They don't want us together.
Yes.
That's why we've been caged. They put us in this fear. And then an African, a white person asks you, are there lions on the street? And you're like, you
and you're scared to accept that, we are judge of the jungle and Tarzan in Africa.
Let our person know we are from the jungle.
Yeah. So when somebody asks you, is that like, you say, oh, my father is judge of the jungle and my granddad is Tarzan. So you should get ready to see a lot of animals. You understand?
When the white man asks you, are there animals? Is it true there are animals in Africa?
Oh my God.
Let the white man know that we don't use clock. We don't use clock. It's a cock that wakes us up in the morning. Let him know.
You let him understand.
The roar of a lion is when we know there's a danger around. Let them know, yes,
that we really connect.
Let them know we really connect with nature.
With nature.
And then we've left that part of us and allowed the whites come in here and teaching us the real us. Because the white people come to Africa and you see them visiting our zoos, going to nature, and reintroducing our culture to us, which is wrong.
Very wrong.
Which is wrong. So it's our duty. Well, I apply schools education system there. Sometimes they ask the kids their parents to pay some money for excursions to at least teach them some histories of Africa, which is wonderful. But I think they can still do better. Our parents also can do better. Let your children understand they are Africans, but then you are an African. But involve. But let his mind wake up. It's high time Africa wake up from their slumber. Without that,
Froze on that note, I'd like to add that I wish the school systems could add a sector where the children are taught culture from the way they're taught ABCD English from level 1. Teach them the culture from level 1. Let me grow up knowing this is what my people do. This is how we do things. So that way, we have that diversity already. So when I'm growing up, I'll have all aspects of everything. I will not be biased. I'll not be
complicated.
On one, I'll not be just reasoning from one side of everything. You understand? So Africans, we still have a long way to go, but I believe we'll get there. So first of all, let's be proud of who we are. Let's own Africa. We are Africans. So when somebody says you're African, yes, I am African. And let it not be by name, but action.
I want each and every one of us to drop a question because this is the Froze podcast where everyone's voice is heard. So we really want to hear our audience, our subscribers, our viewers' voice. Let's know what they think.
But in that aspect, I would love to come, ladies first. So let's leave our young ladies to relax and think about the questions. I always get angry when it comes to this kind of conversation. I have a lot to say and I have a lot to ask our audience in this kind of conversation because it baffles Africans, and as an Africans, where you need a visa to travel to an African country, so something is wrong somewhere.
Yeah, something is definitely
wrong somewhere. So due to this, I always have a lot to ask our audience to as well. It's the first podcast, and over here, our voice is heard everywhere, and our opinions matters.
Yes,
it matters. So what I would love to ask our audience is, what is the difficulty they are facing as an African? Because everybody have something to say about Africa.
Yes.
Okay, I'm an African. I'm in Africa, but something is wrong somewhere.
Okay.
Is it by constitutional? Is it by religious?
Yes.
Is it by tradition? Is it by custom? Is it by educational system?
Yes.
Whatever you think that baffles you.
Yes.
Whatever hurt you have out there, in there, and you've always wanted someone to listen to you. Like looking for someone to listen to you, and you've not found that person. I feel the first podcast is a place whereby we listen to you, and also from your views, we're able to bring it back on the table, and we elaborate on that particular view that you have.
Yes.
So, whatever opinion you have, questions you have for us, the first podcast here, where your voice is heard about Africa, what baffles you about Africa, what do you really, 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 really wish somebody can just listen to you, want to voice out and bring it all out,
roar like a lion,
roar like a lion that you have, like a snake behind your back,
like they normally say.
Bring it out, bring it on the comment section.
Yeah.
And we're going to answer those questions for you.
Okay, so back to our lady in the house, Yakang. So what question do you want Africans to answer? Or what question are you asking Africans out there?
As an African to my fellow Africans, the one question I'd like to ask is that when it comes to Africa, because all these things we have, majority of them were brought to us by the white man, be it politics, religion, etc. So which of them do you feel like is holding back progress in Africa? Like if you are given a chance to just pull it out completely and make Africans do away completely with it, which one will it be and why?
Which one should go to the trash
Which
can?
one should back to the sender?
Okay.
Which one should we send back to the sender?
Which we are used to, back to the sender.
Back to the sender. Which one do you feel
okay. That is a very powerful question and a very interactive one too. Our audience out there, I think you should connect. I have a question, and I really want to ask it because we've been told stories as young children on how African and everything went. So I wanted to ask, what do you think is making Africa stay still? Is it because we adapted a rule of the pattern, like a ruling pattern of the foreigners, and we left our tradition, which is the king kind of type? Before we have kings and queens, and now we decided to do democracy, which is the foreign kind of advancement, like they say. I still don't see it as an advancement because we are still where we are. Even not, we are even going back. So I wanted to find out, is it really the politics that is pulling us backwards, or we are doing everything wrong? Because why I've asked this question is because the same thing that we are doing is what they are doing. But why are they not digressing? They are progressing. Why is it that we are doing what they are doing and we are digressing instead of progressing? Is it that is not what we were called to do, or we were really better off being kings and queens instead of,
as an African.
Yes, as an African, being kings or queens as an African instead of
adapting the world culture.
Yes. So, viewers, thanks for really viewing and having this patience to really listen to what we have to say and all our opinions. And I would urge you all to go subscribe, follow this page for more interesting videos about African, about you, about me, about each and every one of us, about our future tomorrow together, because we are Africans. And this is the Froze Podcast, where your voice is heard. Thank you.